This program on CCS-TV is presented by Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union, a community resource.
I have some real experts here. First, I'm going to tell you the bathrooms are back there if anyone needs the bathroom. Using coffee and water and lemonade in the back. Help yourselves. This gentleman is Walt Lasko. Walt and I have been friends for a very long time. Walt goes across the country and organizes events very similar to this. He has networked with AARP and other organizations to help protect people with their online security and internet fraud. So I appreciate Walt gave me a call and he said, hey, you got this new training center. Did you ever think about using it for the public? And I said, that's the reason for the training center, is that we're here as a resource to this community, and we've opened up the training center. If anyone ever needs this training center, give us a call. Where's Leslie? Leslie's an amazing employee. She's the person that handles all this for us, and we're happy to have people come here and use it for whatever purposes you need to. So, on the panel, I will start with Robert. Robert, come on up. Robert is with the Disabled American Veterans. He helps veterans file all of their forms and whatnot to make sure they're getting the benefits, and helps veterans who have been scammed and educates them not to be scammed. I'll give you the mic after we get the rest up here. Tom Valerio. Nah, I was practicing too. Say it again. Barillary, yes. Tom is with the Secret Service and has a world of knowledge when it comes to online security and scams that are out there, and he will be sharing some stories with you. We have Kat Fisher with the AARP of New York. Kat has been with AARP for about 6 years and is very knowledgeable when it comes to fraud. And last, we have Josh Giuliano. Josh is with the it's not the Office of the Agent. Center for Elder Law. And there's some brochures out there. And we have more, yes. Now, we did pass out a sheet of paper and mistakenly typed one of the phone numbers wrong. So under the Chautauqua County Sheriff's, it might be wrong on your sheet. That should be 753-2132. So, we're getting together to talk about scams. Oh, I missed somebody. I missed two people. Jim Quattrone is in the back. Sheriff Quattrone is here. World of knowledge and obviously very helpful on this. And Emma Ward with Jamestown Police Department is here. The resources that we have in this community are second to none. And the earlier session, one of the things that we focused on is the idea that there's so much knowledge in this room. But that knowledge doesn't always carry over to the frauds that are going on. And it's only by getting together, talking about the common frauds, talking about the resources to help you determine if it's a fraud or not, that will help curtail fraud in this county. There is fraud in this county all over the place. And we believe at this credit union, as a lot of other credit unions and banks do, that we have a role in that we can help you with that. We see these frauds often. And we see the characteristics, the common traits of fraud. And what we know is when people come into us and they attempt to do a transaction that's different than what they normally do, our people are trained to say, wait a minute, this check is bigger than what you've ever brought in here. And some people get a little offended by that. What are you asking me that question for? We're asking those questions to protect you. We're asking those questions so that we can determine, is this a pattern that's a typical fraud or not? And what we've learned is that some people get so far into the fraud, they don't want to admit it. So they lie to us. They don't tell us the whole story. And then that means we can't help them out. So one of the major takeaways from tonight is fraud's everywhere. extremely smart people are victims of fraud. It's nothing to do with your intelligence. Fraudsters hone in on people who are lonely and people that are vulnerable. During that time, you're not necessarily thinking straight. So what you need to do is slow down and talk to somebody that is an expert at this field. In any bank, any credit union, especially Southern Chautauqua, we're experts. I can't guarantee it's a fraud or it's not a fraud, but I can tell you, if it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a duck. So we're going to start with a quick video. Yes, we're going to let them introduce themselves first.
Hi, everyone. I'm Josh Ciliano. I am the supervising attorney for our Dunkirk office at the Center for Elder Law and Justice. Our main office is in Buffalo, but we have a satellite office in Dunkirk. We are a full-scope legal services provider. We're a nonprofit organization, which means if we are able to help you with whatever legal problem you have, we do not charge. We're funded through grants, state grants, federal grants, so we do not charge any money for our clients. We have a wide variety of services that we cover, but the reason I'm here today is because one of those areas is elder abuse prevention and recovery, and that includes scam prevention and recovery. We've seen a lot of different types of scams. Some of them you'll hear about today, and we do all the civil legal issues that may be involved in those, and then we can help with advocacy with other agencies if that should be needed in your case. So we're always here to help if you have any questions. Like John said, if there are any, if you ever have questions about something that looks like might be a scam or something, the banks are always available as our legal services providers. It doesn't have to be CellJ. Law New York is in Jamestown. They're available too. They'll answer your questions. AARP, the various police agencies, the Sheriff's Department and JPD. There are a lot of resources around that'll help you with if you ever have any questions.
Thanks. And I'm Kat Fisher, and I came here tonight from Rochester, and I represent for AARP all of Western and Central New York. And I am in charge of the fraud part of the work that we push out. So AARP is a membership organization. Most people know about some of the products that we endorse. However, I work for the nonprofit part of the organization, and we push out free public education on a variety of topics, everything from brain health, including fraud prevention, decluttering your home. We also do a lot for veterans, and there's no issue that touches a person over 50 that we're not working on, and have a program and a team that has developed a lot of information on that we're pushing out. So in our Fraud Watch network, we have a national Fraud Watch network that is full of professionals who work in collaboration with a lot of the kinds of people that you see here today to do research and figure out how to touch the lives of the 50 plus. And one of the things that we do on our local regional teams is to train people like you, everyday folks, to become aware and learn how to be good self-advocates and to go and take that information into their own community. So although we might not see, a huge crowd here today, we know that if you take this information back out to the community, it can grow exponentially, and that's what we try to do. And we try to teach people that if you can spot it, you can stop it. So really just the more and more we talk about it, the better. And we have a lot of unique offerings. So there's a lot of different places you can report fraud. We have a Fraud Watch Network helpline that you can call Monday through Friday, 8 to 8, to just talk things over with a trained person to figure out if it is fraud or not, and what would be the best place to report it if it is, and to just find out some of the unique resources that AARP offers. We have online support groups. That's not the kind of thing you're going to find the SEC or the FTC offering. So we have a lot of unique things that we can bring to the table, which we'll be talking about today, and it's really glad, I'm really happy that you invited me, so thanks.
Yeah, good evening. My name is Tom Barilari. I work for the United States Secret Service out of the Buffalo Field Office. I'm a 20-year law enforcement veteran. I retired a couple years ago to come over to the Secret Service. Primarily, I do cyber-related investigations, so anything pretty much that touches the internet. I'm also a forensic specialist too, so when we do conduct evidence or collect evidence, I'm responsible for the forensic side of computers, phones, anything that that's pretty much digital. And then on the other side, I handle a lot of the cryptocurrency investigations. So as you know, or you may not know, you will find out that a lot of these fraud, elder fraud, and any type of fraud, they relate to, they end up sometimes on the blockchain, and they end up in the cryptocurrency, and they, you know, that's kind of a way to mask where the money goes. So anything related to financial, that's Secret Service's responsibility. Could be the monetary system, checks, and we're going to talk a little bit about that later. But I've been on the Secret Service task force prior to coming to the Secret Service to work for them for about 7 years. So I have about a good 10 years or so of cyber-related, fraud-related investigations, and then everything else that comes along with it. So any questions, and I will remain here after, so no question will be unanswered tonight.
Good afternoon. My name is Robert Seltz. I'm a representative for the Disabled American Veterans. The DAV has been helping veterans, keeping our promise to them for 102 years. I've been a life member since 2000. I've been a member since 1973 when I got out of the Marine Corps. Served 5 years in the Marine Corps, Vietnam, Okinawa, Japan, probably halfway around the world. But I've been helping veterans. I've been an advocate for veterans ever since I've been out. Being a veteran myself, I know what we've gone through, the transition of going from a strict military background to civilian life. A lot of people can get taken advantage of, and that's why I'm here. So.
At Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union, we believe in supporting our community and helping you achieve your financial goals and strive to make a positive impact for our members and the community. Our mission is to empower individuals with the skills and resources necessary to achieve financial freedom. As our members and the community achieve their goals, we fulfill ours, creating a brighter future together. Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union, your partner in financial well-being.
Our generation has a choice: turn away from the world's problems or chase them down. We refuse to sit back and watch them pass us by. Watch us fly ahead. Rise to every challenge and overcome anything. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Market value pricing means you save more at Schultz Auto Group. Search for your next vehicle in person or online within our dealer network, now with an even greater selection of EVs. MVP means you'll get the best deals within our market. Schultz brings the showroom to you with optional, personalized virtual walk-around, remote financing, DMV services, and home delivery. 50 years experience with modern customer care. That's why we say you can't beat a Schultz deal.
Are you a middle or high school student passionate about journalism, broadcasting, filming, or editing? Join the CCS-TV Community Club. At CCS-TV, you'll get hands-on experience in our state-of-the-art studio, unleash your creativity, and dive into the world of broadcasting. Meet new friends, learn from industry pros, and gain valuable skills that set you apart. Ready to start? Learn more at ccs-tv.com/join. CCS-TV, empowering voices, inspiring futures.
My goals were to retire and see the world, and I couldn't wait to get retired. I had met my financial objectives. I was looking so forward. I was on top of the world. I have never married, and I thought, you know what, if I want to get married, now's the time to do it. So I thought, I'll try a dating site. I did Match.com, and 2 weeks passed, and that's when we started talking together. We were going to see each other, meet each other in person within the week. Then he traveled with his business, and so he had to leave and go to California and do business meetings. And I was very flexible with that because I'd worked all my life. I know what it's like of putting work first. Every morning I would get an email of a poem that he wrote for me. Every morning I would also get just, hi honey, how are you doing? How was your night? When I get to the States, I can't wait to be with you. Within a month, he was just very, very heavy in terms of the dating relationship. And this is a mistake. If I made a mistake, it was that I didn't cut it off then. $150,000, $250,000, $75,000, make a check for $250,000, and then make another $50,000 check. I sent money to China and Hong Kong at the end, and people say, how can you give money to a stranger? He wasn't a stranger at that point. I mean, the way they know how to hook you and psychological manipulation. You know, they know how to do what they do. They have a script. They have a book that tells them everything of what to do. I knew in August 2019 that I would probably end up being poor with him. And I just thought, okay, I can live with him and be poor. That's okay, as long as we're together. I sold my home in May. The reason being is that I had no more money. Living with it now is the hardest of hard. I can't go to the future.
What do you worry about the future?
Me not being out on the streets because I don't have any money. And at the very beginning, I mean, I had no money. My house was sold. I had no place to stay except for my car. And I had some very good, solid girlfriends, and they took me in for the first 8 months, which was really good because I think I would have probably committed suicide.
It's hard to follow that, isn't it? That just rips your heart out, right? A successful individual saved $2 million. I'm not going to have $2 million when I retire, I'll tell you that, right? I'm not that smart, right? A very smart individual who was taken advantage of by a person that didn't even exist because she had in her mind what she was looking for. And many times we paint pictures in our head of what we're looking for and we blindly go after that. As she said, at one point in time in this relationship, a gentleman she had never seen face to face, she was ready to live poor as long as she was with him. As long as she was with him, right? The scam artists know how to draw you in. They know how to pull on your emotions. And they're very comfortable asking for large sums of money. I've never asked somebody to lend me $250,000, right? They are trained at this. Smart lady, they got taken advantage of. You guys want to add any points about that video?
Yeah, I would like to. You can imagine the embarrassment and shame that follows her in the future when people learn her story about what happened. I mean, obviously, if we're the victim of a violent crime, it's easy for people to feel bad for us. Something, we got attacked randomly. But when something like this happens where you're tricked into giving your money away, there's a lot of criticism that follows and mockery. How could anyone do this? AARP has an entire campaign based on changing the language of how we talk about fraud and putting the onus on the criminal. So making sure that we refer to the scammers as criminals because they are conducting crimes, and trying to remove all the shame that is there so that people can learn to live with dignity. And that's why we have the online support groups for people, because it can take a very long time to recover from this kind of trauma. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'll just say specifically, unfortunately, this case that we just watched here for 2 minutes is commonplace. This happens. It follows the same pattern. The shame, as Kat was mentioning, and the woman on the computer mentioned. So we get involved, and believe it or not, it's not this person that contacts us. We'll find out, we'll trace some type of cryptocurrency, and we'll realize that it's attached to a larger situation where when we go backwards with it and find out that it's these business people or people that saved their whole lives, and they're giving out $250,000, $500,000, putting it out onto the to the blockchain. So what we try to encourage, or what we're seeing, is that we're getting it from their son, their daughter, an aunt or uncle, or another relative because of the shame involved. I know that AARP has actually worked with people that we've done investigations with personally, and they feel like they're alone until they actually talk to them. And the peer advocacy group that they have, or the people that they have trained, is definitely an incredible resource. And I think you have some handouts. This education tonight is not just for the people sitting in this room, but as John said earlier, bringing it back to your family members, sitting, having a Sunday dinner and talking about it, or even at your friends at whatever type of group you're involved in, and let them know that there are resources out there to help them. And one last thing I'd like to say, if you are sensing that somebody that is involved in something like this, and the checks are starting to be written, and the checks, like they come to the bank, the bank is not convincing them that this is wrong. If they send the check somewhere or put it in the mail or try to do a wire, if you contact your local law enforcement immediately, they'll contact us. If you don't get a hold of us personally, they'll contact us. We can do something called a kill chain. We actually have stop money. There's timing. 48 hours is the 3 days is a long time. But if we're within that time frame, a lot of times we can reverse that money. So just keep that in the back of your head, and we have the ability to go back and try to reverse some of that money, believe it or not, as long as it doesn't go to Hong Kong. Hong Kong seems to be the place that it goes forever. But any other place in the world, we're pretty good at getting money back.
And just to branch off with the romance scams, another type that we see quite a bit is the celebrity scams, where somebody's pretending to be a celebrity to hook somebody and start talking to them, and then suddenly start asking for money. We have a case that we use as an example quite a bit, where a woman thought she was talking with Vin Diesel, and she ended up thinking she was in a relationship, just talking with him for months at a time, and then suddenly started asking for a little bit of money here and there. And if you're talking with a celebrity and the celebrity says that they need money, that should be a red flag. Vin Diesel doesn't need your money. He's got plenty of his own. And even if you do fall for a scam, there's no shame in coming forward, because coming forward is how people that want to help you can help you. It's not a romance scam, but we had a contractor scam in Cattaraugus County that we helped with, and it took us a good 6 months to just meeting with our clients and explaining everything to get them convinced that they were being scammed by this person pretending to be a contractor, and he was basically ripping wiring out of their house to sell it for copper. That's how bad it was. And it took a while, and it can be that way for anybody. If you're talking with relatives, friends, whatever it happens to be, it may take multiple conversations to get where you need them to get to. but it's worth it if you can help them and prevent them from losing money or losing more money if they've already sent some.
So one of the strategies that is should be illustrated by this video is the idea that we give up too much information about ourselves. We are quick to trust, which is a good trait, right? We should be good to trust people, but trust people that you see, trust people that you can shake their hands. Be very wary of somebody who's miles away, and when they start giving you those excuses, oh yeah, I was gonna come see you, but I got a business meeting. You gotta tuck that away. You gotta say, wait a minute. And if they do that to you again and again, cut it then. Talk to other people. I'm certain this lady gave the keys to the kingdom away because she was talking about her dreams. So this gentleman knew exactly what to send back to her that she was going to get excited about. And that clouded her thoughts.
At Wegmans, we've crafted our new sandwiches with layers and layers of deliciousness. Each one is made fresh with our very best ingredients, like hearty breads made with grains from near our stores, premium cheeses, and freshly carved meats. We've packed big, delicious flavor into every bite for sandwiches that are endlessly good.
At Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union, we believe in supporting our community and helping you achieve your financial goals and strive to make a positive impact for our members and the community. Our mission is to empower individuals with the skills and resources necessary to achieve financial freedom. As our members and the community achieve their goals, we fulfill ours, creating a brighter future together. Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union, your partner in financial well-being.
Are you a middle or high school student passionate about journalism, broadcasting, filming, or editing? Join the CCS-TV Community Club. At CCS-TV, you'll get hands-on experience in our state-of-the-art studio, unleash your creativity, and dive into the world of broadcasting. Meet new friends, learn from industry pros, and gain valuable skills that set you apart. Ready to start? Learn more at ccs-tv.com/join. CCS-TV, empowering voices, inspiring futures.
Our generation has a choice: turn away from the world's problems or chase them down. We refuse to sit back and watch them pass us by. Watch us fly ahead. Rise to every challenge and overcome anything. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
This is CCS-TV, empowering voices, inspiring futures.
Hi, I'm Amy Conley. I live in Cazenovia, New York, and I received a scam using artificial intelligence the day before my daughter's wedding on June 2nd, 2023. So I was in the nail salon with my other daughter and her bridesmaids, and the phone rang and it said no caller ID. So I had heard that police sometimes use that. And since this was the day before the wedding, stress was high, so I thought I should answer it. And immediately I heard sirens and my daughter's voice, the bride. She lives about 45 minutes away. And she said in a crying voice, "Mom, I got in an accident." And it was completely her voice. My whole body just started filling with adrenaline. And I said, "Are you okay?" And she said, "Yes." And then someone else took the phone and said, "Hello, this is so-and-so from the county, and Officers arrived on the scene. Your daughter is okay. She did fracture her nose. And immediately I'm thinking, oh, she's got to walk down the aisle with a big contraption on her nose. She said she is okay, but when the officers arrived, she was very truthful and admitted that she was texting while she was driving, and doing that, she hit the car in front of her. Unfortunately, there was a pregnant passenger who was injured and is now on her way to the hospital. So because of that, your daughter was arrested. And I said, arrested for texting and driving? And she said, yes, ma'am, the laws have changed and there was an injury. I'm going to let you talk to her again for a minute. So she gave the phone back to my daughter, or who I thought it was my daughter. And she said she had come to the city to pick something up. I said, what city? She didn't answer me. So I quickly said, Oswego. And she said, yes. And I said, you're going to be okay. We will be on our way and we'll get you. Don't worry about the wedding. It will all be okay. The person got back on the phone and said that I would be receiving a call and to take down this claim number or case number very carefully, and to not use my phone for 15 minutes so that the person could place the call. So I hung up and was extremely agitated. The phone rang right away, and it was someone who said they were from the probation agency and that my daughter was taken by the police officers due to the accident, and that it would be $15,000 to get her out of jail. And I said, $15,000 for texting and driving? I think that's just ridiculous. And all of a sudden, red flags went off a little bit because I just thought that was an incredible amount of money for something like this, coupled with the fact that they arrested her for texting and driving. So I said, I'm not going to pay that. And the person on the other end of the phone said, what would you pay? That was another red flag. I found that odd. So I went along and said, oh, I don't know, $5,000. And she said, well, let me talk to the judge. And if the judge is willing to lower that amount, we will call you back. And she said, keep your phone open, and hung up. So I was feeling that this was strange, but I still knew that that was my daughter on the phone. So while that phone call was going on, my daughter next to me, my other daughter, texted the bride, Mary Kate, and she said, you've been in an accident. Are you okay? Mary Kate wrote back and said, what are you talking about? And that she said, I'm home and I'm fine. She immediately sent me, she called me, and I picked it up and I said, hello. And she said, this is Mary Kate. And I said, you need to prove it. And she said, what are you talking about, Mom? And gave me my dad's name. And then I told her what happened. And she sent a picture of herself at home, smiling, saying, I'm fine. So at that point, I knew it was a scam. No one ever called back to ask for a different amount of money. And so I realized it was a scam. And the rest of the day was spent very, my nerve-wracking, and just, I couldn't believe that that had happened.
So some definite takeaways from this video. I'm willing to bet that there was on Facebook announcements about my daughter's wedding. I'm willing to bet there is information shared socially, social media, about the wedding. It's easy on Facebook to trace your family members. It's easy to figure out the daughter lived 45 minutes away, right? Now, if not for the timing of this call, when that mother was with other people in her family and her daughter's friends, there might not have been that additional text saying, you've been in an accident, are you okay? Notice that the scammers said, don't keep your phone clear. Well, you can get a phone call when you're on the phone. So if somebody tells you, keep your phone clear, What they're really telling you is don't call anybody, because if you tell them what's going on, they're going to tell you it's a scam, right? So big flag if somebody says, don't keep your phone open, don't talk to anybody. And did you notice that when she started to question, he immediately turned it around and gave it back to the daughter, who really wasn't the daughter, that was AI. So rather than having to answer the question that she was asking, this doesn't seem to make sense. Let me talk to your daughter. And that totally took her off that train, right? They know how to use pressure. They know how to give you that sense of urgency that you have to do this and you have to do it quickly. So anytime you're contacted, number one, as one of the panelists had said, no court in this country acts that way, right? But when you're under that pressure, you make bad choices. And she said, when her daughter finally did call, you have to prove it's you. What I would suggest is say, send me a picture holding up 3 fingers, or send me a picture with your finger in your ear, because criminals might have a picture already ready to go. But if you give a specific instruction, then you're going to know that's really who you're talking to. Panelists, you want to add anything?
Yeah, just a little story on that. I got one of them calls. My grandson happened to be sitting next to me, and they proceeded to tell me that your grandson got arrested. He got on the phone, and the first words out of his mouth was, "Grandpa, I've been arrested." Well, he's never called me Grandpa, he called me Papa. So that was the first red flag, and the fact that he was sitting next to me at the time. So yeah, be careful if you get these phone calls. Listen to what they're saying. If it sounds unusual, hang up.
And there's a few other things you can do if you do get these calls. We refer to them as grandparent scams, because typically it's a situation where it's a late night phone call. The caller says that they're the grandchild. They don't want their parents to know, so they're calling grandma or grandpa to help bail them out. And there's a few things you can do if you get one of those calls. The first is call that person's cell phone number. Most kids these days will have a cell phone, so you can call your grandchild and find out if that's the case. But if you cannot get a hold of them, the next thing you should do is find out what police department that this call is coming from, and then look up the phone number for the police department on your own. Don't ask them for the phone number. Look it up, Google it, check the phone book, whatever you have to do. Look up the phone number and then call that police department. They're going to be able to tell you one way or the other whether this actually happened. If you call the booking or the dispatch numbers, they'll be able to tell you if somebody's there or not. The other red flag is how they're asking that you pay for it. If they're asking you to go get iTunes gift cards or something like that to pay for the bail, that is a scam. There is no jail or prison in the United States that is going to ask for you to pay for bail using iTunes gift cards. But that is untraceable, so the scammers like to do it because once you scratch off the code on the back and give it to them, the money's gone and you're probably not getting it back, and they've already spent it and cashed it. So there are ways that you can be prepared if you get one of those late night calls. It's just, it helps to have some planning, so when it does happen and you're groggy waking up at 11 o'clock at night, it'll trigger that there are ways and things you should look out for.
I wanted to say too, I noticed AARP has done research of people who have been scammed. I mean, gobs and gobs of research. And one of the things that we find in common, people who have already been scammed, is that there was a state of vulnerability of some kind. So while more young people than older people actually get scammed, the amounts of money that are taken are usually bigger from older people who have worked their whole lives and may have savings and assets. But the thing in common that people have is this vulnerable state. So I thought it was really interesting that she was all stressed out about the wedding coming up. And so stressful life events was listed in our research as something that is really common. So if someone's having financial hardship, maybe they just lost a job, or they're lonely, or they're isolated, poor health, anxious, maybe they just had, we've heard this a lot, like it was just a terrible time in their life for some reason, they're more likely and a little bit in a needy state to fall for something. So while this may not occur to you when you're in that state, if you're the friend or support person of someone else and you can recognize this, that's something to keep in mind too.
So I'll just follow up a little bit with the AI. So if you actually see photographs, or you get photographs from somebody who they say to you that, oh, this is your grandson or granddaughter, or whoever it may be that's trying to communicate with you, and you feel that, I don't know, this doesn't seem right, or the AI is generated, one of the things we like to look for, or what AI hasn't been able to do, is fingers are a big thing. So if you saw somebody's hand, they're not going to have 5 fingers. They might have 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9 fingers. When they smile, they're going to have actually extra teeth. So when you look at their mouth, and you may not notice it right away, but you will, and I encourage this to the group earlier today, is when you get a chance, just Google AI pictures, and you'll see people smiling, and they have 20 teeth on the top and 25 on the bottom, and it's a great smile, but it's way more teeth. Their face looks a little distorted. And then something that John mentioned is that, one of the pictures, when you ask for a picture, ask for a picture of somebody tugging on their ear or holding up their fingers, because the AI-generated photographs will not be able to reproduce that. First of all, in an instance, that picture, but second of all, you'll start to notice it and feel. And this is something part of our prevention here, is go look at that stuff, because it's out there. You can look at AI pictures and be able to tell fakes right away.
At Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union, we believe in supporting our community and helping you achieve your financial goals, and strive to make a positive impact for our members and the community. Our mission is to empower individuals with the skills and resources necessary to achieve financial freedom. As our members and the community achieve their goals, we fulfill ours, creating a brighter future together. Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union, your partner in financial well-being.
We get how uncertain the future is. We've come of age in a complex world, face to face with problems we didn't create. So what's gonna happen next? We are. Because our future is the future. The life we have chosen has prepared us for this. So we're going to build bridges and hospitals in a day. We're going to save families from disasters and feed those left in the cold. We're going to do all this and more because we have an appointment with destiny. We invite you to join us. The next greatest generation is now.
Market value pricing means you save more at Schultz Auto Group. Search for your next vehicle in person or online within our dealer network, now with an even greater selection of EVs. MVP means you'll get the best deals within our market. Schultz brings the showroom to you with optional, personalized virtual walk-around, remote financing, DMV services, and home delivery. 50 years experience with modern customer care. That's why we say you can't beat a Schultz deal.
At Wegmans, we've packed our fresh and delicious salads with incredible flavor. Each one is made with our very best ingredients, like fresh greens, imported cheeses, and our signature dressings. We've packed big, delicious flavor into every bite for salads that are endlessly good.
So, other scams involve checks. Many times what we'll see is somebody will befriend somebody online, and the criminal will send a check, and it's a real check for $1,000. I'm going to help you out. We're going to send you a check. So they send a check. They're bad to the bone. Scam. So they'll send the check, and it's a good check. It's $1,000, and the lady will deposit it into her account. Then a couple months goes by, and oh, you need a little help at Christmas? I'll send you another $1,500. Criminals are willing to invest a year into a victim, a year or more into a victim. They'll send you good checks until they don't. Then they'll send the $30,000 check, and you trust them by now. So you'll take that to your bank or credit union, and you'll cash it, and they'll say, oh, send some of it back. If you're ever asked to send some of it back, that's a fraud. I've never seen it where it's not a fraud, if they're asking you to send money back. Now, the other thing that we see is that all of you are way too polite. Hang up. When you get a phone call, and as soon as you get that feeling something's not right, hang up. They're not going to trace you down. They're not going to come after you. If you get the text that says your account is being shut down, and we do that. We will send text to people, but we never ask for personal information. If we send you a text, it's because your debit card might have been used fraudulently. So we'll send a text that say, did you spend $27.18 at a gas station in Florida? And you just have to yes or no. That's acceptable. That protects you. But if you get a text and they want you to click and they want you to give your name, your account number, the bank name, that's not legit. No bank, no credit union will ever do that. And all you have to do is hang up. But my own mom can't hang up. And she's the one that started this credit union because she's afraid that somebody has access to her money. And she knows better. But they play on that vulnerability. And they do. They have a script. They have a book. They know how to do this. Comments from anyone? Yes?
So I'll just comment quickly about we call that credential harvesting. So when you get emails or you get text messages and you click on the one you're not supposed to click on, and you enter your information, sometimes nothing happens. In fact, a lot of times nothing happens. But what's going on is they're harvesting your credentials. And what that means is basically they're keeping it in a database. And then what they'll do is if they go back out and look for, jsmith@gmail.com, they'll look at, they'll go onto the dark web and they'll see, well, how many times has jsmith@gmail.com been compromised? But now they have JSmith's credentials. So the next thing they're going to do is go into your email and take over your email. Or they actually have scripts. Scripts are basically computer programs, and they'll run every single bank in the zip code or area code you live and check every single online account for all the banks in that area and see if jsmith@gmail.com and then the password that you put in there pops up. This happens. People are always, it's hard to trace. It's hard to understand where it came from. Even if we get information from the bank that we know what the IP address that it came from, well, they're masking their IP address. They're using a VPN and they're somewhere else in the world. So just be cautious when you get a message on your phone. Robert will tell you a little bit. He's got a thing he talks about on the post office side. But when you get those text messages or emails, clicking on something obviously is very dangerous. And anytime you put in your credentials, unless you actually went to that website on your own, you put in the URL, you do not enter anything in there of personal information.
Okay. As you know, you get a lot of emails, a lot of text messages. One of the big ones that I get is saying that your package can't be delivered because it's an improper address or something. Since my wife orders a lot of stuff on Amazon, it seemed legit, so I clicked on the link, and I ended up 10 days to get my debit card back because I had to close my debit card. Just be real careful with things like that. I know better, And I clicked on the link because I figured one of the packages that she ordered isn't going to show up. So the post office is pretty good as far as screening some of that stuff out. Our postal inspectors are, as he can tell, do an awesome job. I retired from the post office on the maintenance side, so I seen a lot of stuff coming through the mail too.
So I just got a quick little story that happened to me this week. So last week I went home and my wife told me she had some drama. And the drama was the downstairs laundry room was full of water. The washer was just kaput, gone, done, right? So we went down to Lowe's and we purchased a new washing machine. It's going to be delivered. So 2 or 3 days later, I get a text. It says, we need to verify your address or else we can't deliver your washing machine. I'm sorry, I bought a lot of things at Lowe's. I have an account there. They know my address. They know my phone number. I did not reply. I deleted that text. Well, it got delivered today, just so you know.
This just builds on a point that both of them just made, is the rehearse your refusal. So none of us really, I mean, maybe you are the kind of person that would just swear at someone and hang up, but if you're in a conversation with someone, there are so many different things you can say to get out of the conversation, but if you've never thought about it or said it or heard it before, you might not know. So I'm going to just say some for you so that you have some in your head. No, thank you. No is a complete sentence. No, thank you is a little bit nicer. You can always say no, thank you. You can say, I don't deal with these matters by phone. I'll need time to verify this. If you're going to remember anything tonight, one word is verify. That can mean you verify your grandson's identity by calling him or calling his parent, or verify that it's from the actual store that claims to be calling you, or call the bank and ask them. So, but I'll need time to verify this. I'm not going to make a decision or take an action on the phone right now in this moment. Another one is, I believe that account is all paid up. I don't believe I owe any money. I'll double check and give the main office a call back. Or this is not something I need or am interested in. Thanks anyway. It's a little too nice maybe. My son or daughter can help me with that. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. Because sometimes you're not sure if maybe you owe someone money, but you're going to have a trusted person help you with it. You don't need this stranger on the phone who you can't verify who they are to be the person helping you through it. So if you can have a refusal script that you've heard before, it's going to make it that much more likely. And please tell people this. You know, if you're with an older parent or a younger person, make sure you tell them this, that there are so many different ways to say no. And but if you're caught in this wish to be polite or to have, decorum and to be socially appropriate, you might not want to say that. But there's a lot of different ways to say it.
And just following up on the theme of recent scams that we've experienced, we had an email go out to everybody at work at the Center for Elder Law and Justice that was it was something along the lines of the Voter Registration Bureau or something like that, saying that we needed to update our voting information so that we could vote in November, and we needed to click the link and enter our information. Obviously, none of us clicked the link, but the email actually looked pretty legitimate at first glance. But the two big red flags are none of us had ever used our work email in any relation to register for voting, so that was red flag number one. And then if you are tech savvy, you can hover over a hyperlink, a blue link that is going to redirect you to a different website, and it will show you where it will actually redirect you, and that can be a good indicator of it's not taking you where it should be or it looks suspicious. But I only recommend doing that if you are tech savvy and you know what to look for. If you're not, then just delete it and contact whoever they're pretending to be if it is a legitimate entity and you're concerned about it. But make sure you look up what their contact info is in a separate way. Don't just follow what the bottom of the email may say or anything like that.
Any questions at this point? Emma, is there anything you wanted to add at this point, or Jim?
if you're in Jamestown, you can feel free to reach out to us anywhere in Chautauqua County, the sheriff's office. We can probably give you some insight and let you know that it's something that's going around. So just keep that in mind. Like they said, though, make sure that you go with the phone number on our websites and not a phone number that the scammer might have given you.
So think about that. You encourage us to call and ask for advice. Talk it through, right? Jim?
I just got ordered that I had to come up front. I just, I've been hearing this, and I really appreciate the friendly comments, but don't be so friendly. Yeah, learn how, I guess maybe I'm just good at saying no, hang up. It's not impolite to hang up on a criminal or, the scam artist or whatever. Get used to just hanging up. I mentioned earlier today, I don't know of any law enforcement agency that will be calling to ask for money. So if you get a phone call and somebody's asking you to contribute to law enforcement, that's a good one to hang up on. I generally, when I get those calls, my first answer, and they usually hang up on me because I say I don't like cops, or I don't like the police, and they hang up. My wife's like, well, who are you talking to? But the other thing is, it's really important, and I think I've heard it up here already tonight, but don't be afraid to call. We would much rather have you call us early, as soon as you find out. Don't be embarrassed about it. There's been a lot of people that have been scammed. I do know John's mother, and just, it's a lot of people we want to trust people. And it's sad that we have to say don't trust people, but don't hesitate to call us. And we may not always have the answer, and we have to reach out to the Secret Service or reach out to our contacts. But the quicker you can let us know, the better chance it is for us to stop the scam going on. And we're going to investigate as much as we can. Sometimes they're very difficult because the suspects, the criminals are overseas. But the Chautauqua County was scammed about 1.5 years ago, and for a large sum of money, and we were able to make an arrest. The person was in Georgia, no connections to Chautauqua County, but we were able to, through the investigation, make an arrest. So don't give up, and don't be ashamed to give us a call at any time.
Yeah, if you're getting phone calls or text messages, one of the things you can do if you're computer savvy is you can Google the phone number, and it'll tell you, where the call's coming from. Be cautious. And there's a lot of information on the internet. There's a LexisNexis. You can just about get anything on anybody. So if people are savvy with the computer, they can research you. And it goes back to, like, an example would be on Facebook, where a friend will send you a thing to fill out with your favorite, your first dog's name, what was your first car. Don't answer them. You're just giving out your information.
Experience the difference buying your next pre-owned ride at Schultz. Certified technicians ensure our inventory gets up-to-date maintenance. Most purchases include a limited lifetime engine warranty and more. That's why we say you can't beat a Schultz deal.
Our generation has a choice. Turn away from the world's problems or chase them down. We refuse to sit back and watch them pass us by. Watch us fly ahead. Rise to every challenge and overcome anything. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
At Wegmans, we've packed our fresh and delicious salads with incredible flavor. Each one is made with our very best ingredients, like fresh greens, imported cheeses, and our signature dressings. We've packed big, delicious flavor into every bite for salads that are endlessly good.
CCS-TV, empowering voices, inspiring futures.
At Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union, we believe in supporting our community and helping you achieve your financial goals and strive to make a positive impact for our members and the community. Our mission is to empower individuals with the skills and resources necessary to achieve financial freedom. As our members and the community achieve their goals, we fulfill ours, creating a brighter future together. Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union, your partner in financial well-being.
What's life like in Chautauqua County? It's where small-town charm meets world-class culture, where your downtime gets an upgrade across miles of lakes, state parks, and vibrant local vineyards, where you can live the high life at a low cost as your dollars go further and your roots grow deeper. Whether you're building a business or advancing your career, settling down or settling up, choose Chautauqua County, where every step you take is toward the life you love. Start your next chapter at livechq.org.
As a employee of a financial institution, we see a lot of the checks, letters that come into us. Should we be saving those and bringing them to you as evidence?
I don't want Justin to yell at me for not speaking into a mic. A letter is nice. We don't always have to have them, but it's always nice to know where they're coming from, to be able to look them up. So if you're able to, even if you take a picture of it, the nice thing with cell phones now, you can send it to us right away. But the more information we have, the better chance it's going to be for us to investigate and follow through with that. And look at the Secret Service.
Yeah, we get a lot of them, and I was just at a fraud seminar up in Buffalo, and they told us that we should be saving letters, checks, anything we get, and they call the intermediate people the mule. So they say that we should contact the police department or Secret Service to come to the location of where we have received that, so they can come down and interview that person.
Yeah, so the mules are that, I'm not saying that's a new part of it, but like the professionals that aren't from this area, they come up, they recruit mules. Those are the people that they actually will meet them at a hotel, make them an ID with their picture and a fake name on it, and then send them into the bank with the check that they just printed out inside the hotel room. Right. It's there's the law enforcement in New York is really good at we can lift prints off of paper, especially check paper. So you're going to touch it, other people are going to look at it. Like, we're not saying that's the wrong thing to do, but if you feel like it's a scam right away, or this is the second or third one you've got, put it in the bag and contact your local law enforcement. At least they'll come and take it from you, and it could sit on the shelf, but it also could be part of a bigger operation. And it's always nice to go back. We're working on, cases regularly, but the state and locals, the local departments and the county departments, they have good forensic people that know how to lift prints. Okay. They go to a lot of crime scenes, and checks and paper are good. And a lot of times these guys aren't thinking that we're that sophisticated. We have to try to get better at what we do. So yes, we are. That's an important thing to think about.
Okay. And then the next question is for the credit card or the debit card, gift card scams, the gift card. When we have people come in and they're sending them out, and we tell them, don't send them out, I see signs up everywhere, UPS, don't send them out. If they've sent them out and then they come to us within those 24 hours or 48 hours that you're saying, is there a way for you to get those back, or
No.
is there not?
No, gift cards are, they're gone right away. The money would be like a wire transfer or a check that goes in the mail. That's it's in an intermediate stage where we have, we'll call FinCEN directly and have them reverse the whatever, if it's a transfer through the wire, or we'll stop payment on the check.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
I just wanted to say one thing about the money mules. A lot of times the money mules are victims of scams themselves, but there are money mules that act knowingly, and there have been cases in New York State where they have been prosecuted for their involvement in these scams, and they're the middleman. There have been cases where it looks like they were victims of scams themselves to begin with, but no matter how many times people would tell them that it was a scam, they would keep doing it, and there have been cases where they have been prosecuted. So it's not just the scammers that can get in trouble, it can be the money mules. So if you're ever suspicious of something like that, or if somebody's coming to you and telling you that you're being a money mule and you're helping in a scam, you need to listen to that and take it seriously.
Okay, we got another video we'd like to queue up.
Oh, yes. We prosecute money mules. The U.S. Attorney's Office in the Western District are wholeheartedly prosecuting money mules. Now, we're not going to go after victims, but these people know what they're doing. They're very sophisticated, and they seem to be the same group of people that the people from out of town are using the same group. They know how to go and recruit these people. And, you know, you feel bad because you'll go and interview them, and they do have a victim mentality, but they know that they're getting, you know, nobody has a job, unfortunately. They might be on some type of public assistance, which is not a problem for any of us. But when you're getting influxes of $20,000, $30,000 a month in your bank account, and then $25,000, $28,000 of it's going back out, you know that it doesn't make sense. And anybody that within their right mind would know that that's some type of scam, or they're being a mule knowingly.
Yeah, the mule is the person that agrees to take the check to the bank because they think they're going to get to keep $300. That's how desperate those people are, right? And I agree. They're not victims. They're not the perpetrator. They're being used, but they should be smart enough to know you don't take a fake check and get to keep $300 without some kind of consequences.
At Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union, we believe in supporting our community and helping you achieve your financial goals and strive to make a positive impact for our members and the community. Our mission is to empower individuals with the skills and resources necessary to achieve financial freedom. As our members and the community achieve their goals, we fulfill ours, creating a brighter future together. Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union, your partner in financial well-being.
Market value pricing means you save more at Schultz Auto Group. Search for your next vehicle in person or online within our dealer network, now with an even greater selection of EVs. MVP means you'll get the best deals within our market. Schultz brings the showroom to you with optional personalized virtual walk-around, remote financing, DMV services, and home delivery. 50 years experience with modern customer care. That's why we say you can't beat a Schultz deal.
Our generation has a choice. Turn away from the world's problems or chase them down. We refuse to sit back and watch them pass us by. Watch us fly ahead. Rise to every challenge and overcome anything. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
At Wegmans, we've crafted our new sandwiches with layers and layers of deliciousness. Each one is made fresh with our very best ingredients, like hearty breads made with grains from near our stores, premium cheeses, and freshly carved meats. We've packed big, delicious flavor into every bite for sandwiches that are endlessly good.
Are you a middle or high school student passionate about journalism, broadcasting, filming, or editing? Join the CCS-TV Community Club. At CCS-TV, you'll get hands-on experience in our state-of-the-art studio, unleash your creativity, and dive into the world of broadcasting. Meet new friends, learn from industry pros, and gain valuable skills that set you apart. Ready to start? Learn more at ccs-tv.com/join. CCS TV, empowering voices, inspiring futures.
It's one of those stories where you're just wondering, how could anyone do this? Unfortunately, it happens a lot. It's just not always in the news. Now, this is the house that we are talking about. The trouble started 2 years ago when the elderly couple needed a personal loan. Their grandson offered to help and in the process convinced them to hand over the deed to this house. That was the beginning of the end.
And I don't know where we're going to put these.
Verna and Hank Kowecki have to pack everything and move. They're being evicted from their home of 56 years in Thousand Oaks.
Anytime you mention my house or my wife, it's rough.
Losing the house is incredibly painful for this couple in their 80s. But it's how they lost the house that hurts the most. They say they were scammed by their own grandson.
People in the neighborhood told me all about it, but I still couldn't believe it. Not from him, I couldn't.
And I don't know how a person can have a behavior like that.
Doug Emerson is one of the neighbors who broke the news to the elderly couple. He noticed that when Hank and Helen were out on Sundays with their grandson, realtors would be showing the house to potential buyers. Emerson did some digging and discovered the grandson the couple loved dearly was selling the house without their knowledge.
I asked him outright when he came by, I said, "Is my house for sale?" He says, "Oh, no, don't worry about it." But it was for sale.
Not only was the house for sale, all the equity was gone.
He took out $360,000. Then he took out another loan for $65,000 and took out another loan for $47,400.
When the couple confronted the grandson, they say he left and never came back.
I just feel lost.
To the extent I wanted to commit suicide at one time, because it's just too much.
When Walt arrived, we had some conversations, and he mentioned to me how many times family members are involved in scams. Now, I'm very fortunate, love my family, have great relationships with them. That's not always the case. What we suggest is that even if it's your own family member, go talk to somebody else. Sometimes just saying the story out loud, you're going to see the flags as you're trying to explain what's going on, right? There is too much shame in society. It keeps people from talking to other resources. And just like JPD said, just like the Sheriff's Department said, just like the panelists have said, just call. I don't care who you bank with, stop in and talk to any of my people. Again, I can't guarantee that we're going to spot every single scam, but we're going to tell you if it fits the profile. If it fits the profile. We do it every day. We see it all the time. Don't be afraid to talk. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Any comments on that video, anyone?
Just one thing with the house sale, a lot of times folks will want to plan for their estate and transfer their house ahead of time, give it to the kids, grandkids, what have you. There are ways to do that and still protect your property and protect your interests, but you need to talk to someone that does that for a living. You need to talk to someone at your credit union, your bank, talk to an attorney. There are certain types of deeds, certain types of ways to set things up that will protect your assets when you do pass, but they won't automatically just outright transfer it to somebody else. And the other thing is, a lot of times there are conflicts between different areas when it comes to estate planning. There can be a huge difference between estate planning if you do not need Medicaid at any point in your life, and estate planning if you do need Medicaid at any point in your life. And it is very easy to cause problems there where you end up having to pay thousands of dollars for health care that you can't afford because Medicaid isn't going to cover it because of something you did for estate planning. So talk to people that can help you with the planning instead of trying to go about it and find out 5 years down the road, when you can't do anything about it anymore, that there's a problem.
So what was described when it is a family member, a lot of people don't understand that that is a domestic violence crime in New York State. So I'm with Jamestown Police Department. I'm specifically the domestic violence officer. I investigate domestic violence crimes, and it's the same idea. If you are even a little bit suspicious that you might be getting scammed by a family member, call our office. Allison Murphy's our advocate. She happens to be here tonight. So one of us can talk you through it. It's the same thing. We want to get ahead of the crime. It's easier to get ahead of the crime than try to solve the problem after the fact. So, and another thing about our office is we work closely with a lot of these resources that are up front. So if you call us, Jamestown Police Department, then just ask for the domestic violence unit, then we can, if say you lost these numbers, we can refer you to the people that are up on stage tonight. So just something to keep in mind. If you live in Jamestown, we're especially accessible, but we do work really close with the Chautauqua County Sheriff's Office, so you can contact us if you live in the county. Yeah, sure. So the phone number for our non-emergency command desk, and they can give you a lot of good information there. It's 716-483-7537. And then our office for the domestic violence office is 716-483-7705.
And I'm just going to put in a plug for Officer Ward. We've got a few cases going where we're working together, and she's been great. So if you ever need any help, they're absolutely there to help.
We have one more video. Any questions before we start that one? What we're trying to do is show you some of the common schemes that are used out there for your knowledge, and trying to point out some strategic initiative, I overuse that word, some ideas that you keep in your back pocket to protect yourself if you ever find yourself in this situation.
Or your front pocket. It's a little safer.
There you go.
Experience the difference buying your next pre-owned ride at Schultz. Certified technicians ensure every vehicle has up-to-date maintenance and reconditioning to make our pre-owned inventory like new again. Most pre-owned purchases include a limited lifetime engine warranty and 1 year of complimentary service. Explore Schultz extended warranty options for even more peace of mind on the road. That's why we say you can't beat a Schultz deal.
What's life like in Chautauqua County? It's where small-town charm meets world-class culture, where your downtime gets an upgrade across miles of lakes, state parks, and vibrant local vineyards, where you can live the high life at a low cost as your dollars go further and your roots grow deeper. Whether you're building a business or advancing your career, settling down or saddling up, choose Chautauqua County, where every step you take is toward the life you love. Start your next chapter at livechq.org.
At Wegmans, we've packed our fresh and delicious salads with incredible flavor. Each one is made with our very best ingredients, like fresh greens, imported cheeses, and our signature dressings. We've packed big, delicious flavor into every bite for salads that are endlessly good.
Our generation has a choice: turn away from the world's problems or chase them down. We refuse to sit back and watch them pass us by. Watch us fly ahead. Rise to every challenge and overcome anything. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
At Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union, we believe in supporting our community and helping you achieve your financial goals and strive to make a positive impact for our members and the community. Our mission is to empower individuals with the skills and resources necessary to achieve financial freedom. As our members and the community achieve their goals, we fulfill ours, creating a brighter future together. Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union, your partner in financial well-being.
More Americans than ever rely on alarm systems, gates, or doorbell cameras to help protect their families. But statistically, you are now more likely to be the victim of theft online than a physical break-in at home. A new report from the FBI reveals that Americans lost more than $10 billion last year to online scams and digital fraud. People in their 30s, who are among the most connected online, filed the most complaints. But we were surprised to learn the group that loses the most money to scammers is seniors. Tonight, we will show you how cyber con artists are using artificial intelligence, widely available apps, and social engineering to target our parents and grandparents. Steve Savage, a retired scientist, was scammed when he opened a fake email from the Geek Squad.
The email said that your bank account is being charged $399 for another year. And I'm like, wait a minute, I don't remember it being anywhere close to that.
The customer service number went to a scammer posing as a representative of the company. Savage was duped out of $14,000. Esther Maestre was scammed too. The retired nurse says an alarm sounded on her iPad with a message to call tech support. She did.
He said that last night between 4 and 9 p.m., your bank account has been hacked.
And your heart probably stopped.
You know, I felt so nervous. But he said, I am going to transfer you to another guy who's a security at Chase Bank.
That fake bank employee told her hackers might be able to access her bank account and instructed her to immediately withdraw money and deposit it into a new account for safekeeping. Maestra did and lost $11,000. And have you been able to recover any of your money?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I'm the one that pulled the money out of the bank, so I won't be reimbursed.
So as I said at the beginning, one of the problems is that we answer too many questions. We give out so much of our personal information that it's out there and easy for these criminals to go to the dark web. And these are huge databases that maybe 5 years ago they got some information on me that now they can match up with something they got a year ago, that they can match up with something they got last week. So we have to be very careful about the information we put out there. We give too much of it away. We tend to not talk to other people when we think we might be getting scammed because we don't want people to think that we're foolish. The First Lady had $2 million. She's not foolish. The gentleman from the Geek Squad was a scientist. He's not foolish, right? It happens. It happens that quick and that easy. So talk to other people. Use the smell test. If something doesn't seem right, pause. Call a trusted source. Call JPD. Call the police. Call the sheriff's department. Again, we can't guarantee we're going to catch every single fraud that's out there, but we can tell you if it meets the pattern that it likely is. Any questions? You can't make this stuff up. Oh, yes.
Is that as safe as you're going to get for paying bills other than through the mail?
So the question is regarding online banking. And there's a couple of things to remember about online banking. First, you need to make sure that you've got good security software on your computer. Second, you need to make sure that you've updated your computer. Third, you need to make sure you didn't write your password and your sign-in next to your computer desk, right? Common things that happen. Or you put it in your phone because no one will ever figure that out, right? So online banking. What I love about online banking is that when I send a check out from my online banking, it's not really under my checking account. So I'm not disclosing my checking account for that check that's going through the mail. Unfortunately, Robert, wasn't it you that was talking about, or Tom, what they're doing to post office boxes, the key?
Yeah, this actually is part of a presentation that the AARP and Secret Service do together. But we talk about, in the Western New York area, we've had postal carriers get robbed. They actually steal the arrow key. So the arrow key is supposed to be a unique key, but they use it to open up the blue box. So they're not only stealing the mail out of the blue post office box and then going back to their criminal lair and taking your signature off the check and making checks. They're also, they drive down the street and they look at your mailbox and you got the red flag up. Guess what they're going to do? They're going to take your mail out of there. So one of the recommendations that we say at Secret Service is hand your mail right to your postman or postwoman. Take it to the post, take it to the post office box or right to the post office. Hand it over there. And then online banking is a big deal. If you're using an iPad, which is very, very hard to put malware on that. As long as the software is up to date, we feel like those are trusted. And then, as John was saying, we talked about this earlier, having your computer up to date with the malware protection, and then know that you're not giving anybody control of your computer. And we saw this. Okay, the Geek Squad guy, he got a letter for $3.99, or he got an email $399. Well, how did he lose 14 grand? The reason why I lost 14 grand, and we worked on a case, and not only did I investigate it, I also did the forensics on this woman's computer. Pediatrician, smart lady, really sharp. She got an email. She clicked on it. They downloaded the malware. She said, well, how did this happen? The guy spoke to her on the phone and said, hey, guess what? Yeah, that was the fee. I'll refund you. While he's on the phone with her and refunding, he's actually duplicating her bank statement, and it shows that, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't give you $399 back in your bank account. I gave you $39,000. Oh my gosh, I'm going to be fired. And the guy goes through this whole emotional deal, convinces the woman to drive to the bank, take a check. She actually used the payroll check from her practice and paid this guy back and sent a wire. The computer was interesting when I looked at it. It actually had, it was a picture, we call it a GIF, of the circle, like, oh, my computer's working in the background. He actually populated that on her screen while he's in the background manipulating her key bank statement. So these guys are really sophisticated. This is, within the last 6 months. So this is relevant, and unfortunately, really, really, really smart people get scammed, and it's a lot of times it's no fault of their own, or it's just one thing, they clicked on one thing, and this is what happens.
I'd like to just tell a quick story if I can. My one of my best friends actually. You think AARP is trying to get the message out that a gift card will never, of any kind, iTunes or anything, will ever be used for a legitimate payment source to a legitimate business. That's just not how we do business. So if anyone asks you to, and I remember thinking, like, this is kind of obvious, right? Like, who would do that? And it really actually happened to my girlfriend. And the thing that was said, just like in this video, they started out by telling her that they spoofed the number, which means they got a number that looks like the number of her bank, and said, you have been defrauded. You've already been the victim of a fraud, which kind of took her guard down because she thought, someone's calling to help me. She's no longer suspecting that person of being the criminal. She's thinking they're here to help her. So she was willing to do whatever they said in order to clear her credit, and she went and got two gift cards. Well, she got a lot of gift cards. She cleared, in order to supposedly clear her credit card, which had a $7,000 limit, she did it twice on 2 different cards and lost 15 grand. I can't tell you how that would impact me. She rolled it into some other new loan she was getting, and she managed to be okay mentally, but like that would infuriate me. I can't even tell you like how much freaking counseling I would need to get over that. That would make me so angry that they couldn't get the money back. But it really does happen. And the thing to remember is it's not that someone's gullible or stupid for falling for it. The criminals are very, very sophisticated. They have huge operations that are very sophisticated. So that I just want to repeat that again. The other thing about passwords is, if you've ever looked this up, it's a really cool statistic. I have a slide of it. Passwords. If you have a password that's like 12 or 14 digits long that has all the mixed numbers, it can take like 14 years for someone to crack it. If you have a password that's like 5, 6, 7, 8, you know how everyone's telling us to change our password all the time and it can seem annoying, but it really is, if you can come up with something that you'll remember that's really long and varied, it really is really effective. So I just wanted to say that too. And I feel really safe that my employer asks me to constantly change my password all the time, and obviously don't keep a file in your house that says passwords to remember, or something on your computer that has them all there. You've got to find some other way.
CCS-TV, empowering voices, inspiring futures.
At Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union, we believe in supporting our community and helping you achieve your financial goals and strive to make a positive impact for our members and the community. Our mission is to empower individuals with the skills and resources necessary to achieve financial freedom. As our members and the community achieve their goals, we fulfill ours, creating a brighter future together. Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union, your partner in financial well-being.
Market value pricing means you save more at Schultz Auto Group. Search for your next vehicle in person or online within our dealer network, now with an even greater selection of EVs. MVP means you'll get the best deals within our market. Schultz brings the showroom to you with optional, personalized virtual walk-around, remote financing, DMV services, and home delivery. 50 years experience with modern customer care. That's why we say you can't beat a Schultz deal.
We get how uncertain the future is. We've come of age in a complex world, face to face with problems we didn't create. So what's gonna happen next? We are. Because our future is the future. The life we have chosen has prepared us for this. So we're going to build bridges and hospitals in a day. We're going to save families from disasters and feed those left in the cold. We're going to do all this and more because we have an appointment with destiny. We invite you to join us. The next greatest generation is now.
So Jim has put up on the screen, one of the panelists was talking about trusted sites. So if you look at our web address up there, HTTPS, S stands for secure, that's a trusted site. If you're on a site that doesn't have the S after the HTTP, I'm not saying you can't use that, but I wouldn't do any kind of financial transactions. I wouldn't disclose any information to that site. Any of your financial transactions have to go through a secure site.
You can see that just ahead of the HTTPS is a lock, and it is locked. If it was not a secure site, there'd be a lock there that was unlocked, okay? And also, I think, just to go with what Kat was saying about passwords, an 8-character password, there is software out that's not all that expensive that they can crack your password in 2 minutes, I think. Mm-hmm. And then the 14 to 16, like she said, 14, 15, 16 years.
So when you're looking at your addresses, ours is www.665-7000.com. What the bad guys will do, the criminals will do, is they would disguise that, and maybe instead of the dash, they'd put an underline. So it looks like you're dealing with Southern Chautauqua, but you're not dealing with Southern Chautauqua. So just take a minute, not even a minute, to look at the address, start learning the addresses of your financial institutions, and then take that 3 seconds just to look at that line before you're doing transactions. So we'd been publicizing, hey, we're going to do a fraud event. It's happening too much. We need to protect the people of the county. I think we set ourselves up. Sunday evening, our members started getting texts saying that your bank account is frozen. SCFCU, your bank account is frozen. Hit this link. Now, we found out later that there was another credit union hit and another financial institution. We were not hacked. There was no breach. This style attack is known as a area code attack, where they have dialers that just will dial every number in the area code, and they'll try to get lucky and happen to have a text go to you where you happen to have a relationship with that institution. They don't know that you do or not. The scary thing is, people look at that and they think their account's been hacked. They think their information's out there. And in that case, it's not. That's just a massive fish. Text everybody and hope you get lucky. Be very cautious. Ask for help. We are here to help. Again, no matter who you bank with, it doesn't matter to me. My people are trained on this. We will look at it. We will, if we don't know the answers, we'll get you to Secret Service or JPD or Jim Quattrone, right? We can beat fraud. It's not easy, but we can beat fraud. Anybody with any other closing comments? Questions? Walt, you've been awful quiet over there. Oh, yes, yeah, we kind of touched on that. So, pay it forward is a new way of saying Good Samaritan, right? Please, please, please tell your friends that we're here to help. Please pass on to your friends that you came to this because fraud is everywhere. They might be going through it and they're afraid to talk about it, right? Pay it forward. We will come to any church, any Boy Scout, Girl Scout. We'll come to any event to educate people about banking, about finances, and about protecting yourself. One of the things my credit union does that I'm extremely proud of is if you bank with us and you have our home banking, you have access to your credit report. So you can look at your credit report once a week. Now with identity theft, which we didn't get deep into here, what we've seen happen is somebody will open an account in California and they'll get a small loan, $1,000, and they'll pay that back over 6 months. Then they'll go back to that institution because they're building trust, and they'll get a $5,000 loan, and they'll pay that one back. Then a few years into it, they'll go and buy a Tesla, and they'll vanish because it's easy to take a Tesla and ship it overseas and get lots of money for it, right? They will vanish. And then in about 60 days, you're going to get a phone call wondering why you're not making payments on your Tesla. Now think about it. If you're able to look at your credit report, you would have caught this 4 years ago. You would have seen this sooner, and therefore you could have acted sooner on this. Looking at your credit report is vitally important. Oh, good. Yes. Yes, freezing your credit. Go ahead.
It just makes sense. If you're not in the market for a loan, freeze your credit. We have 6 easy steps, and actually it could probably be boiled down into 3, how to freeze your credit so no one else can use it if you're not going to be getting a loan. And it's really easy. It's within 24 hours you can unfreeze it. So I recommend it.
So please pay it forward. Tell other people about this. We're here to help. Stop in anytime if you have questions. Any other comments? Yes.
You heard all this information from all these experts. You are now semi-experts because you know more than a lot of your friends. So like you said, pay it forward.
I'm going to set up some piles for you to stop by and pick up some handouts if you like some tip sheets.
So when we were going through the text scam, we believe in absolute transparency. So once we found out what was going on, we took the steps internally to stop it. Unfortunately, we did. And then we sent an email out to all of our members, letting them know this is what's going on. In this world, and again, we were not hacked, we were not breached, but in this world, it's not if you're going to be scammed or breached, it's when you're going to be scammed or breached. So you have to be proactive and act as quickly as you can once it does happen.
Lead-based paint was banned in 1978 for residential use, but 8 out of 10 of homes in Chautauqua County were built prior to that. One of the ways we can help here at the health department is coming in to test your home. We bring an XRF device. It doesn't destroy painted surfaces. We just lay that right on the surface and it will give us a reading of lead-based paint levels in your home. We test homes built prior to 1978 where children under 6 live or visit up to 6 hours per week, and homes with pregnant women. For more information, visit healthychq.com. With the Chautauqua County Health Department, I'm Anna Powell.
At Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union, we believe in supporting our community and helping you achieve your financial goals and strive to make a positive impact for our members and the community. Our mission is to empower individuals with the skills and resources necessary to achieve financial freedom. As our members and the community achieve their goals, we fulfill ours, creating a brighter future together. Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union, your partner in financial well-being.
I look at an email address as a phone number. We used to have a phone book. Now we have email addresses, not in the book, but they're accessible, right? And even your checking account number, when you send a check through the mail, your checking account number's on that, right? So even if somebody has your checking account number, that doesn't mean they have access to your account, right? So I always say, if you're at all nervous about anything, change your password. Change your password. Change your password. Protect yourself. Super.
Did you set up two-factor authentication to get into your email? So two-factor, so when you sign into your email, do you get a text message to your phone or a second email to a second? It's called two-factor authentication? Okay. So did you ever sign into something on your phone, any type of account that you have, and before you can actually access it, it will text you a 6-digit code or a 4-digit code, and you have to put that into the browser? Okay, so check to see that your iCloud has two-factor authentication. You can do it, probably set it up the same way. Most emails will require that two-factor authentication, and that's pretty important. You know, there's all types of, I mean, I can get into like 30 minutes here about, you know, is two-factor safe or not? It's the safest thing we have at this point, so it's important. I mean, the hackers that actually figure out how to do two-factor or do SIM swapping and things like that, it's very complicated, but anything you do, any online account that has any type of financial catch to it, brokerage account, bank account, you should set up two-factor. Do you guys require that on your for your customers? Okay.
Just one quick thing. If you do fall for a scam, you're usually going to be a target for future scams in the down the road. So it's important to make yourself, you can't make yourself scam proof, but you can make it so you're a harder target to scam, and they'll usually look for somebody else. They'll skip over you and go to somebody else that's easier for them to scam. So you're never going to be completely scam proof, but the harder you can make it for them to scam you, they'll probably leave you alone. If you do fall for one, you need to be extra vigilant though, because in the future you're going to be a target, and they know that they got you once. They're going to keep trying until they hopefully eventually give up, but they're very persistent.
So we do have one more session tomorrow at 1:30. If you want to pay it forward and tell that to somebody else that wasn't here, please do. And again, we're happy to come out to whatever groups you have. If you want us to give more education out there, we're happy to do that, whether it be about this or finances or anything whatsoever. This room is available to the community. If you want to have meetings here, get a hold of Leslie, 665-7000. We'll take care of you that way. Any final questions? Thank you all for coming. We appreciate it.
At Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union, we believe in supporting our community and helping you achieve your financial goals and strive to make a positive impact for our members and the community. Our mission is to empower individuals with the skills and resources necessary to achieve financial freedom. As our members and the community achieve their goals, we fulfill ours, creating a brighter future together. Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union, your partner in financial well-being.
Market value pricing means you save more at Schultz Auto Group. Search for your next vehicle in person or online within our dealer network, now with an even greater selection of EVs. MVP means you'll get the best deals within our market. Schultz brings the showroom to you with optional, personalized virtual walk-around, remote financing, DMV services, and home delivery. 50 years experience with modern customer care. That's why we say you can't beat a Schultz deal.
I'm sitting here today with John Felton, who's the CEO of Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union. John, thank you for taking some time to chat. I really want to learn more about the credit union. If you can, give me some background. How did the credit union get started?
Walt, first, thank you for having a conversation today. This credit union, my parents didn't start the credit union, but they got involved very early in the early years. My parents were teachers at Faulkner School, and that's where the credit union started. My dad was member 110, so it was a very small credit union back in the mid-60s. At some point in time, my father decided that my mom, who was going to stop teaching, I have an older brother, and she was pregnant with my younger brother. She was going to stop teaching. She became the new bookkeeper. My mom's famous response was, "I'm a phys ed teacher, not a bookkeeper." But she figured it out. And she really set the basis for this credit union. The basis of this credit union is relationships. It's talking to people. It's getting to know people. And that's exactly what happened at our house. We didn't have a family room. We had a credit union, and it was a very social room.
So when you look at it today, then, is that how the credit union seeks to distinguish itself in the community in terms of relationship building?
You know, it's funny you say the word distinguish, because that's a shame that in today's society we're distinguishing ourselves by having personal relationships.
You're right.
Right?
You're right.
That's the way business is meant to be done.
Yes.
You're supposed to know who you're doing business with. You're supposed to see them and talk to them. You're supposed to have that local resource. And that is exactly what Southern Chautauqua is built on.
And as you say, you know, I think the foundation of success, particularly for anyone that wants to do financial management and, you know, see their own savings grow and be safe, it comes down to the relationship that they have with their financial institution, with their credit union.
Absolutely. We deal with money every single day. There are so many very intelligent people, very smart people, good people that just don't understand money. Well, what we suggest is you come and talk to us. We're the experts. We can help you. We'll help you buy your car wisely. We'll help you manage your debt wisely. We will help you build a safety net that is key to the success of building a financial future. This is what we're honed in on. We really want to teach the people the joy of saving. We want to teach them the pain of debt, because debt is painful.
That's right.
But we want to make sure they're managing that debt and keeping it to a reasonable amount of money.
And I know that the credit union is also a community development financial institution. You have that designation. Why is it important for the credit union to have that designation?
So a CDFI designation, Community Development Financial Institution, special designation, as you know, from the U.S. Treasury Department. We have maintained that status for several years now because of the work we do in our community. We're big on education. We are founded by teachers. We believe knowledge is power, so we go out of our way to share that knowledge, not only in the classroom, but in presentations like we're doing the past couple of days. We'll go to any church, we'll go to any organization, Boy Scouts, you name it, we'll be there to teach people about financial strategies.
And you know, you have this beautiful training room that we're doing our sessions in, protecting older adults from financial scams and fraud. I mean, it's just so wonderful. Why is it important to you and to the credit union to have a training room like this?
The landscape changes so drastically, so quickly in finances. There's a new app out, seems like every day, you know, get this app for that, get this app for that. What we believe is that in order to keep up with all the changes in the marketplace, we have to focus training on our staff. So we needed a training center so that we can get our staff to be the best trained staff in the county. And then that just kind of bled over to the idea of we're focused on education, so let's open the training center up to everybody in our community. And we rent it out for the first year. This year it's $25 for a nonprofit organization to use the space for all day if they want. Jeez. It's only $50 for a for-profit company to come in here and use it for as long as they want. And we do. Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union is a resource to this community, and it's not just a financial resource. We have found that we can be a resource in other ways, providing space for education.
You know, I've been around credit unions now for more than 20 years, and I've often...
Well, I think it's more than 20.
Yes. But, you know, the key thing is the role of the CEO is so important, because I often believe that the CEO sets the stage and the environment at a credit union, which now leads me to focus in more on you. Your personal philosophy. What is your philosophy of credit unions, and how do you see that playing out here? How do you use that to hold yourself accountable to make sure that you're achieving the mission for the credit union?
So what is old is what is new. I watched my mom build relationships with individuals. I watched my mom, people would come in and say, Jerry, is it okay if I take $50 out of my savings account? Like it was her money, right? Mm-hmm. But they trusted my mom's advice. And sometimes mom's answer would be, I think you can save that money up. Let's protect your savings, right? So you build trust. And I believe strongly that you build trust with face-to-face. We have all the electronic gadgets and anything and everything you would ever need. But what we offer that a lot of other institutions don't is that face-to-face interaction, 5 branches across this county to make sure that we have a great footprint. We also have 4 branches in high schools run by my people with student interns so that we can reach the younger generation, so we can make sure that kids in high school not only get workforce development, cash handling experience, phone experience, computer experience, but they're also getting a basic financial education.
Exactly, and we all know how important that is, so that they know as they become adults and get into their livelihood, how to manage their money, you know, buying a home or a car or food. It's so important that young folks have that today.
We're fortunate. We're in the classroom a lot with kids, and I jokingly ask people, who wants to grow up to be poor?
Yeah.
We live in the 10th poorest county of all New York State, and we talk about how that happened and why that happened, and is there a way out of that? And there are ways out of that, and I believe Southern Chautauqua is going to play a major role in that. But you're absolutely right. Get these kids to think about money sooner, get them to think about their future, and empower them. When I was in 11th grade, I didn't think I could manage $150 million, but guess what? That's what we're doing. And once you believe in yourself, once you make that commitment to yourself, then the sky's the limit.
You know, you kind of touched upon it when you were giving an indication that the status of the county is, you know, maybe leaning more on the poor side. We also talk about how the credit union is reaching out, and I want to talk, hear you say, you know, some guidance as to how the credit union actually reaches out to folks you mentioned in the schools. What about some other ways?
So what I know is when somebody comes to us for a car loan, they're very excited about their car loan. I struggle sometimes because I think people spend more time picking out the right pair of jeans rather than the right car. So we try to help them with that. We help them do the research on the car. We help them determine what their trade value should be. We help them determine what a reasonable price for the car is. But then we also give other options to them to help protect themselves. So many times in Chautauqua County, people are underinsured and underprotected. So while they're building some assets, one bad car accident, one layoff at work can definitely hurt them. So my people are trained to give these options to anyone that comes into us. Again, talking to people, that relationship. Credit unions were designed for people of modest means. Now, everybody banks at credit unions now, whether you're of modest means or not. And we have everyone bank with us. But the focus of members with modest means is to educate them so that they can make better choices, so that they're protecting their family, so they're raising their standard of living.
And all of this goes into helping to raise the standard of living for the folks in the county.
Yes.
That doesn't come from someplace. That has to be the roots of your parents or your religious beliefs, or what fuels that for you, John, as CEO?
Boy, that's I don't know if we got enough time on this interview to figure that one out. I don't know. I've always been for the underdog. I've always wanted to see those people that maybe don't have the same opportunities as other, maybe that team that has a lot of injuries. I've just always rooted for the underdog, and I love it when the underdog has a victory. And really that's what this credit is based on. We're trying to help individuals raise their standard of living, build that confidence, and feel the joy of financial freedom.
And I think it goes without saying too, kudos to you and to your staff and the credit union itself, because I think on a national level, Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union is doing very well. And when you compare it to other smaller credit unions across the country, is that true?
Yeah, one thing that we have found out is that when you do good, your organization does well. We know that the more successful that the people that bank with us are, the more successful we will be. That success has now given us the ability to do things like this training center, because we have the capital, we have the cash to be able to invest back into Chautauqua County. And that's what we do. Any of the profits that the credit union makes, and a lot of people don't know that credit unions are nonprofit organizations, any of the profit that we make is reinvested in Chautauqua County.
That's why it goes back into the people, the livelihood, so everyone benefits, and that's what's so important. You look at some of the other organizations, the money that they make, it may be going elsewhere or out of the county. It's not put back into the county.
Absolutely.
So I think, and that talks about the distinction of the credit union and the kind of cooperative values and principles that it espouses. And when, it delights me when I see a CEO in a credit union really believing in those principles and putting them into action, because that's what makes credit unions so valuable.
It really is. Again, credit unions helping members of modest means. That's what we were meant to do. And that's exactly what Southern Chautauqua's done. And as we help those members of modest means and their standard of living goes up, they tell other people about us. And we have just been blessed. We've been recognized as one of the fastest growing credit unions in New York State a few years back. We are always in the top performance, and it's only because we build relationships, which gives us loyal members, which gives us successful members.
With that said, what are your aspirations, the credit union's hopes, plans for the future as we kind of wrap up?
So one of my dreams has always been to be a resource to the employers of Chautauqua County. We're currently working with some HR departments of the larger employers, because we know sometimes you lose a good employee because of transportation issues. In Western New York, there's not mass transportation. I believe this credit union can be a resource to an employer to help keep that person employed, because we can help them with their financial woes, which is one of the biggest reasons for divorce and for loss of job. We can help them with their financial woes, and we can keep them in basic transportation so they keep their job.
Yep. I mean, and that's what it's all about. I mean, to really make a difference in their lives to such a degree is, the benefit and the value of them being part of the credit union, and also to an employer that is working with the credit union and offering that credit union membership to the employees.
Which, as you know, that's really how it started out. Employers started a credit union to help their employees.
That's right.
So let's make that happen on a countywide basis.
There we go. John, thank you so much for taking the time today.
you.
I really appreciate it.
I would really suggest if you're a person that doesn't like to be hugged, don't get in the credit union business.
Exactly.
Because there's nothing better than taking a family who's struggling and raise their standard of living, and they just give you bear hugs like you just can't imagine.
Oh, one last question.
Yes.
For more information, anyone listening to get more information about the credit union, where can they find that?
665-7000 is our phone number. It's also our webpage, www.6657000.com.
Thank you, John.
Awesome. Thank you, my friend.
At Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union, we believe in supporting our community and helping you achieve your financial goals and strive to make a positive impact for our members and the community. Our mission is to empower individuals with the skills and resources necessary to achieve financial freedom. As our members and the community achieve their goals, we fulfill ours, creating a brighter future together. Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union, your partner in financial well-being.
CCS-TV, empowering voices, inspiring futures.